I'm Scott Flowers with Cloud Ninjas. Today we're here to continue our series on the Dell PowerEdge R750 server. In this video we're going to specifically focus on drives. Let's get going. Hey, thanks for stopping by today to learn a little bit more about the Dell PowerEdge R750 server. Do us a favor, find anything that helps you in this video. Click that like and smash that subscribe. All right, we'll top in now. This video is going to be specifically dedicated to drives. So what we're going to do in this video as a whole, we're going to go over the different types of compatible drives. Then we're going to compare their speeds and their max sizes. Then we're going to show you how to install, which is super easy because they're hot swap. And at the end, we're going to use two tools that we're big fans of, HD Sentinel and Dell Diagnostics. Now, Dell Diagnostics, I'm a big fan because it's going to test not only the drives, but the system as a whole. And then HD Sentinel is a cool tool that will test the power on hours, the health score, make sure that if someone told you they sold you a new drive, that they actually did. And it's a nice little standalone tool that we like to use before we ever throw a drive into a live production environment. We'll throw it into one of our storage arrays and we'll test it out with HD Sentinel and just make sure that it's a good drive overall. So let's go and hop into the fun stuff. All right, so before we hop into the different types of compatible drives, one thing that is incredibly important is to know what type of chassis you have. So we're going to throw up a list right now of the different types of chassis, and depending on what type of chassis you have, you might have a 2.5-inch small form factor, a 3.5-inch large form factor. You might have one that's NVMe capable, you might have one that's not. And so depending on what type of chassis you have will depend on what types of drives you can use, and that'll spin everything from there. But really that's the first thing you need to identify is what type of chassis you have. All right, so let's talk about the different compatible interfaces. You're going to have SATA, SAS, and NVMe. And what that's going to ultimately break down to is going to be 7 drives, and we'll get to that in just a second. So depending on, again, the form factor, if you have a 2.5-inch small form factor or a 3.5-inch large form factor, we'll again start to tell you what types of drives again. So let's start with the 2.5 inches. With the 2.5 inches, there's 5 types of drives. You're going to have a SATA SSD, a SAS SSD, an NVMe SSD, or you can have a SATA hard drive or a SAS hard drive. So let's start with the SSDs first. So for a SATA SSD, you're going to get 6 gigabits per second. That's really the downfall. It's going to be the slowest of them all. You're going to get 12 for SAS, and you're going to get 16 for NVMe. So NVMe is the winner because it's the fastest, right? Well, now let's talk about the scalability. What's the max size you can put in? Well, according to Dell spec sheet, which is a little outdated, which is why videos like this need to come out to help people know what the true maxes are. According to Dell spec sheet, for SATA it's 3.84, for SAS it's 7.68, and for NVMe it's 7.68. Well, we did some digging and played around a little bit, and for SATA, we were able to put 7.68, for SAS 15.36, and for NVMe also 15.36. So you could actually do double the scalability than what Dell spec sheet shows, which is why, again, these videos are important to show you that it's a little bit outdated and you can install more than what it's saying. Now, their spec sheet is correct for the hard drives. It's going to be 7.2K speed for SATA, and it's going to be 7.2K, 10K, and 15K for SAS hard drives, and you're going to get a max, well, according to their spec sheet, of 2 terabytes and 2.4 terabytes, and that's actually right. All right, so let's talk about 3.5-inch large form factor hard drives. Well, large form factor hard drives are really great for one thing, and that is great scalability. You can buy a large form factor hard drive for much, much cheaper than a small form factor hard drive. A 22 terabyte hard drive, for instance, will cost damn near the same as a 2.4 terabyte 2.5 inch. So you can just get a much higher scalability for a larger hard drive when it comes to 3.5 inches. So what are the max? According to Dell spec sheet, 16 terabytes and 16 terabytes. And again, that is outdated. We've put in 20 and 22, or excuse me, yeah, 20 and 22. And I wouldn't be surprised if you drop a comment down below and say you put in 24 terabyte drives and they work just fine for both SATA and for SAS. We didn't have a chance to play with them, but we have put in 20 and 22. So I did want to at least get that information out there that 16 terabytes is outdated. So a couple other important things to note. So if you are using a large form factor chassis, or maybe someone gave you one, or somehow you came across one, but you still wanted to put in a solid state drive, that's totally fine. That's very doable. All you have to do is get one of these converters right here. So you can get the 3.5-inch tray drop in the adapter and you can put in a solid state drive or a 2.5 inch hard drive for that matter, and it'll work just fine. You can pop it in. Normal hot swap will actually show you that in a minute, but this tray is very important. If you go to our site and you're trying to buy an upgraded hard drive, there'll be a choice that'll say, hey, what tray do you want? And it'll give you this choice for the 3.5 inch or 2.5 inch converter, so that way you can get the whole kit and not have to run around and get 15 different pieces. Just you can grab it on our site and we can overnight it if it's something that is urgent for you. The other important thing that I wanted to note is that if you're looking for a good boot drive and you didn't want to waste one of the backplane slots, one of the backplane ports, you can use a BOS card. And there's two BOS cards you can use. You can use the S2, which is very normal and common. There's actually a carved out spot in the back for the S2, and that's a great option. The S2 is a little bit more expensive than the S1, but yes, you can also use the S1. I know the S1 is older, might not say that it's compatible, but it will work just fine. You can grab an S1 card and throw it into one of the PCIe slots and use the S1 or the S2. Then you can drop into SATA M.2s in there and be able to use them as great boot drives. The last but not least, you can get a rear flex bay in the back. And that depends on your type of chassis, so that's really important. But depending on the type of chassis, yes, you can get a rear flex bay in the back. It could be 2.5 inch or 2.5 inch. Those will be tri-mode, so you could use SATA, SAS, or NVMe. And one thing I did want to note with SAS in general, you do have to have a RAID card for SAS. I don't care really whatever system that is, as any system. If you want to use SAS, you do need to have a RAID controller. All right, now that we know more about our drives as a whole, what's compatible, what interfaces we can use, the sizes, the speeds, let's show you how to physically install them and how to test them. But before we do, I'm going to grab my ESD gear. Be right back. All right, I have my ESD gear on. We are safe to work on our machine. So first thing I wanted to show you was, again, just the physical size difference of a 3.5 inch versus a 2.5 inch hard drive. This is the 2.5 inch small form factor, and this is the 3.5 inch large form factor. It's just literally the difference is the physical size, not the capacity inside. So let's just say, okay, we want to remove our old hard drive. The red circle here, you're just going to push it. It's going to pop open, very simple, and you're just going to slide your old hard drive. This is an old 600 gig SAS. Was a great drive back in the day, but realistically the SAS drives, after a long time the ball bearings wear out. It's good to replace them and go ahead and upgrade it to a solid state drive. And one of the things I always tell people, if you're looking to extend the life of your R750 server, upgrading to a solid state drive from a hard drive and upgrading your RAM are two of the best ways to extend the life and bandage it for a few more years. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and push the red circle. You will notice that there's some metal grooves right here that we're just going to line up in our chassis, and it's just going to slide right in. Now this one is going to click in just fine, but sometimes every once in a while it'll actually get stuck right there. And if you run into that at home, if you notice, and we'll try to zoom in right here, there's this spring on the inside, and sometimes it'll get a little bit stuck and you have to actually just push that in a little bit and you can slide it in. So that might happen sometimes, so I just want to point that out. But that's how easy it is to install. It's one of the easiest installs that you'll do. You literally just slide it in and it'll get recognized by your machine. It's very, very simple as a whole, and again, one of the things that I highly recommend to extend the life for your R750. All right, next what we're going to do is show you how to test your drives with Dell Diagnostics and how to test with HD Sentinel. And actually, one last thing before we do, I wanted to show you another just close-up picture of the converter right here. If you want to drop in an SSD, you can just get this converter and it'll slide in just perfectly.
Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to test your hard drives and solid-state drives with Dell Diagnostics and HD Sentinel. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to go ahead and get started with Dell Diagnostics. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and boot up your server. Once you boot up your server, you want to go ahead and press F10, and this will go ahead and bring us into the lifecycle controller. Once we're in lifecycle controller, we can go ahead and scroll down to where it says hardware diagnostics, and then we want to go ahead and click on run hardware diagnostics. And then you'll get this little warning right here. So it's just going to say it's going to take several minutes, so we can go ahead and accept that. And this will load us into Dell Diagnostics. So actually getting into Dell Diagnostics and actually running the test is pretty simple. So we're just going to let these tests run, and these tests can take several minutes up to several hours. So go ahead and just wait this out. If you're familiar with 12th gen and 13th gen Dell PowerEdge servers, you'll notice that this looks very, very different. In the 12th gen and 13th gen, you can actually see the different tests on the left-hand side of the screen, and you have a lot more information on the middle of the screen. And it's just a lot more simpler of a screen, but it's just gonna go ahead and run through all of these tests. And at the bottom, you can pause these tests if you want, and then you can also see like what test specifically is running at that current time, an estimate of how much time is left for that test. So like I said, these tests are going to take a little bit of time, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward. So once that final test has stopped running, it'll go ahead and stop. And then we will get a message that pops up on the screen that says success. So this means all of our tests have passed. If you had any issues, then you would get an alternative message saying like, hey, these tests failed. And at the very end here, we can actually view all of the information and all the different tests that were ran. And this screen's a little bit more similar as to something we'd see on 12th gen and 13th gen PowerEdge servers. But yeah, we can go through here, see all the test results for each individual test, which is pretty neat. The information about the system health, the configuration, and we can even go into the event log, which is pretty useful. So that is how we do Dell Diagnostics and how we can test our hard drives, but also, you know, everything else in our system. And if you really want to see if your system is healthy, then go ahead and run Dell Diagnostics. It'll give you a lot of information if all the components are working the way that they should. So now I'm going to show you how to test your hard drives with HD Sentinel. Alrighty guys, so I have HD Sentinel pulled up right now, and as you can see, we currently have 2 drives plugged in. We have this installed into a storage array where we like to plug in multiple drives at a time so we can test those drives. HD Sentinel is an awesome tool because you can see things like the power on hours, which is great, especially when you're buying used equipment. You can see how long that drive has been in use. You don't want to be using drives that have been, you know, heavily used, because then you have a higher risk of drive failure. And that's one of the reasons why HD Sentinel is such a cool tool. But as you can see, we can just go ahead and plug a drive into the array and it'll automatically populate within the software. Like I said, lots of information. It'll give you health scores of the drives. As you can see, the 2 we have up top, they have 100% health score, while the one at the bottom has a 99%. So all pretty good. So I hope you guys found this video useful, and if you did, go ahead, smash the subscribe and leave a like. If you're interested in purchasing a custom built server, or you're looking to buy some drives, we do have plenty of those in stock, so you can go reach out to us at sales@cloudninjas.com, sales@cloudninjas.com. Anyways guys, thank you for stopping by.